Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, man? What's going on, Atlanta Falcon fans, man? Y'all come on in. Come on in, man. Let's have some fun, man. Whew. It's been a long day, man. This has been a long ass week. This has been one of the longest week I've had in God knows how long. But it's a good thing. Why? Because we got something to talk about, man. You got something to talk about, man. That is a blessing.
Absolutely.
Uncle Lou, what's up, man? Uncle Lou in the building. Robert
Hey,
Blackman, what's up, man? Dirty Bird Gang 11. What's good? What's good, man? Y'all come on in. Come on in. You know what to do, Chris.
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Chat, what's going on? How y'all feeling? Hopefully y'all feeling great. I'm going to get into Mr. Blank Speaks. First press conference. We've been waiting on it since the let go of not only Terry Fontenot, but Raheem Morris. He gave some explanations behind some things. There was a few good questions, a couple of questions in there. I feel like they could have did without
questions.
But overall, I feel like it was a good thing. I feel like we got a few clarity on a few things, and I just want to know how y'all feel after this. I just want to know how y'all feel.
Absolutely, it's a blessing. We wake up every morning. Absolutely. So every time, when we get into the conversation, man, just as y'all always do, don't be scared to, voice y'all opinion. Because look, we won, but we're gonna start it like we always do with the quarterback position, man. I'm gonna put out a quick video a little later tonight. I've been working on it for a minute. But the question that everybody wants to know, man, what is going on with MP9, man? He talked about a little bit about it. He feels in so many ways that he still feels that apologize. Michael Penix, he said, I do think Michael is our quarterback. And the key word in that sentence is think.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to assure that Mike is going to be our quarterback because we don't know what the future holds as far as setbacks, as far as recovery. 9 to 12 months is the period that they gave him, and that would be roughly anywhere from September up until December. And that would basically be the whole season if you ask me. But if you bring in a bridge quarterback, guess what? Is there really a future for Michael Penix? That's why he said he thinks, and now he knows.
Because it all depends.
Yeah, go ahead. What you got?
No, I'm just saying, bro. It all depends on what that quarterback doing. Because it's like, okay, you asked the question like, does he play? It's going to be depending on what that backup or what that bridge quarterback does. Because if he stinks up the joint, then you're going to be waiting and hoping and praying that he can come back as fast as he possibly can. Correct. So, just perspective on that. Adding to the Michael Penix thing, just since we're on that. So about the surgery, like he said, the surgeon felt 1,000% secure in the medical procedure that went through, and they felt his knee was going to be even better than it was before. He's on a successful rehab plan. He's back in Atlanta. He's committed mentally, physically, and he feels good. Now, even with that being said, that's cool. But just like you said, Smitty, you never know what's going to go on along this process of healing that Michael Penix is going to be going through. And we don't know exactly when he's going to be back. And it was interesting when he had kind of like just threw it in. Kurt, we will see what's going to happen with him going forward. I don't see us bringing Kurt back. We're not at that price tag, though, Smitty.
Yeah, but the way he said it, just so people to know that it's always an option. But let's be real, he really don't believe it. He know Kurt is gone. That's why they bumped the salary down to $2.1 million, because they're letting you know they'll take on the back half of the salary, which is the 27.5 this year and the 12.5 next year, and they'll take it on, and whatever team trades for him, or if they cut him, they'll still get cap space. I think they'll still get about roughly $20-some million. So I mean, you just got to live with it, man. It's a mistake you made, and with Michael Penix, it could be another possible mistake you made because one thing about it, the injury report was there when you drafted him and when you did your recruiting and your scouting, it was all there. So it was a train wreck from the beginning, and you just decided, go ahead with it and say, "Hey, we're gonna step out on faith." But instead, you step off on a ledge, and free fall to your death. So
Nah,
um,
I feel you though. Nah, it's but
yeah,
ultimately also with this with the quarterback situation and Michael Penix. I did notice because I was watching it, like it was so many mixed reactions in the chat as well about when he was talking about how we look forward to having Michael back. He's had a good surgery. We spoke to the medical staff, and it seems that it's gone well. And just him just talking about the possibility of Michael Penix coming back and somewhat believing in Michael Penix being able to come back. I saw that the Falcon fans, like, it was so many mixed reactions, but you have to give the Falcon fans a pass to a degree because you can't overlook the fact that he's had 3 ACLs overall,
right.
5 season-ending injuries, total. So we would be, for lack of a better word, a bit foolish to actually just like overlook that and just automatically just say, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it." It's just like sitting in that room. It's like that meme of the dog sitting at the table with all the fire around him saying, "This is fine."
Right.
We can't necessarily do that. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen moving forward. I know like Falcon fans are having mixed reactions. Some people are saying Michael Penix, I'm happy that he's going to be the quarterback or he's here to stay. And then you have other ones like, man, Falcons tripping. So it's going to be mixed reactions regardless. And the ultimate thing is if Michael Penix does reach the field again in a Falcons uniform, is it like everybody's going to be kind of holding their breath or everybody's going to be kind of like looking like, okay, let's see what happens. And any time that he takes a hit or anybody gets close to him, close to his legs or anything like that, how is he going to react? And is he going to be getting up ready for the next play or is he going to the sideline or worse? So that like it's going to be interesting, but that's what
As we
Falcon
always say, that famous phrase is a catch-22 at the end of the day.
at the
Damn if
end.
you do, damn if you don't.
Right, bro. And that's the horrible thing about it. And you just got to hope that we can make the right decisions. And it's really like it really can be a swing and a miss, or just like Uncle Luke just literally said, a hit or a miss. It really
Yep.
is. And, you hate to be in those situations. You try not to put yourselves in those situations, but you still have to be able to try to navigate your way out of it now. So moving forward with
Right.
this quarterback situation, regardless, and even dealing with that quarterback situation, it kind of like tracks back to what Arthur was also saying about the president of football, because he did make it clear the president of football is not going to be dealing with anything with the president of football operations. The president of football operations deal with everything on the operation side, scheduling, et cetera, et cetera. But this president of football is going to be dealing with nothing except for what's happening on the grass, like the players, et cetera. And the head coach and the GM will be reporting to the president of football, who will be reporting to Arthur Blank.
Yeah. And basically, to keep it short and sweet, he the middleman. He just a new middleman. He basically what Rich McKay was before Rich McKay got kicked to the side. And he said in the press conference that he won't have anything to do with the football operation anymore. But me and you, we know that's a lie. Because if that's his right hand man, his business man, when you talking business with anybody, if something come up as a part of a conversation and it comes to football, he gonna answer the question or he gonna, take into consideration what he's saying. So look, I'm gonna just keep it funky with y'all like I always do. Um, it all depends on what coach and what coach they're gonna bring in and what they're gonna be looking for in the coach. And I'm finna tell y'all right now, this is why I know things won't change much. And this happened just a little while ago, and I'm bring it up right quick. Um, Jeff Ulbrich,
Mhm.
um, was requested by the Dallas Cowboys for an interview, but Atlanta denied the request. So,
Darn right they did.
what did I tell y'all? A zebra changes its stripes, but guess what? It don't change. Because guess what? This lets me know that they have a plan in place as to what they want to do. And as I told y'all before, I just feel like they're going to put together the staff that they want. Because look at the interviews they're doing right now. They're trying to get that in place, true enough. But I got a feeling they still have a coach in mind that they're aiming for. And Jeff Ulbrich is part of that plan. And I told Chris this off air, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, and I just feel like Matt LaFleur is their guy, man. And the reason why I say that, he's been here before, and we know they like comfortability, being comfortable, and people that they're used to. And Matt LaFleur had a damn good run in Green Bay, but if he loses Sunday, they could start over, especially with John Harbaugh out there. So if Matt LaFleur becomes available, and guess what? Mike McDaniel just became available too. So what if you get two guys that have already been in the organization before, somebody you feel like you can have you comfortable with, and it'll be the same story all over again.
Yeah, it's all depending on what happens, something. Because I mean, hey, the Packers could win, and if that happens,
Right.
of course, LaFleur probably could stay, and then that would throw a monkey wrench, of course, in all this. But honestly, I think like they're trying to keep that optionality open too, Smitty, because you think about it,
Right.
Jeff Ulbrich. Again, I've talked about it. It's not just an offensive mind that y'all got to think about. Y'all have to think about that dark horse who we requested a interview with, Robert Saleh.
Yeah,
So
that's another one.
yeah, so like we're talking about Jeff Ulbrich, you want to keep him around. Robert Saleh is one way to do it. Another way, you could go Clint Kubiak. And again, Jeff Ulbrich is going to be recommended to whomever coach comes into here. Now, he still can say no and say, I want to bring in my own people. But Arthur has already said that he will be recommended. So that's almost like case closed in a way. Like, hey, man, the coach that comes in here, you kind of got to ride with Jeff Ulbrich. We want you to do things your way, but we actually like the fact that Jeff Ulbrich is here, and we want to keep that in place. So that's letting me know I don't think that would be like a Harbaugh decision right there, because Harbaugh may want to come in and do things his way. He
His
may
way.
not.
Absolutely.
So with that
Absolutely.
being said, we may not even and he was asked about which was crazy. He was asked about John Harbaugh as well, and then he said that hey, he's doing interviews next week. He's definitely ideal, but that's even if he wants to come here, and he definitely will be
They
on our
try to
list.
put him on the schedule. Yeah. Yeah.
If,
Yeah.
yeah, if he wants to get on schedule and everything. So all that right there is saying, yeah, we would like the guy, but it's still not saying, oh, yes, of course, we're going to definitely go after him or definitely schedule him or whatever. It was kind of like, oh, if he wants to, type thing, which also could, I'm not saying Arthur is saying this, but it also could be an indication of saying, yeah, that's nice, but kind of got my guy in mind, just like you were saying,
Yeah.
Smith. So,
Yeah. And that's
you
the
got
thing,
to.
man. I know this organization has been ran the same way since he's been here. It's just always about being comfortable with what he likes. And even though he was telling y'all all this stuff and who is gonna do what, at the end of the day, what was the last part of what he said? Everybody reports to him. He gets to finally say so. So it's not gonna change. I don't care if he put Matt Ryan in place. And yeah, and don't get me wrong. I know I said and I stick by it. I feel like Josh has some hand in what's going on because they have to catch up with the times. So Josh is going to give his input, and y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Talking about Josh Blanket's son. I
Right.
feel like Josh is giving him some pointers as to how to catch up with times because older philosophy don't always work. One thing about the game, it don't change; it just evolves. So I feel like Josh is giving him a heads on what's evolving in today's NFL, and that's how they're going to stay ahead of things. I think, and bringing in a younger Matt Ryan and having a young Josh, helping in front office. I feel like it's transitioning as to Josh taking over once Arthur decides to sit down, and I think that is the right way to go. So you have to nail this GM and this head coach, for the immediate future for Josh's sake, as far as Arthur's sake. So, it just
Mhm.
I just feel like, at the end of the day, it's just still gonna be Arthur's decision. He's because they say they report to him, so guess what? It's not gonna change.
You gotta
But
be able to play ball. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
but part
You
your
got
family cruise right quick before you go.
what?
It said as an owner, he can't play down his quarterback because he's still on the team, so he still has to show some confidence, albeit false confidence, and that's true.
Mhm.
That's absolutely true. Because that will turn away coaches if you down your quarterback. That would turn away candidates. So he has to do that. So that's an excellent point. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, I gotta keep up that integrity though for family. But again, like in going back to it with the co-head coach thing. So again, like I was saying, I don't know if that's going to mean hardball or anything like that. I mean, it'd be nice to to bring him in, but I still feel like he kind of like has his guys in mind and having that whole thing about people reporting to him. We did do it 2 interviews today, so we did get 2 interviews out of the way, but like you can really say like the main event is coming up tomorrow on Friday
Right.
because you got Ian and you also have Matt. Both I think both supposed to be doing their interviews tomorrow.
Yeah, they're
So
probably already here, man.
that's what
They're
I'm
they
saying. I'm pretty sure they
Chris,
are here already. They're here already for sure.
I
And think
think they've
about it.
already had dinner. I think they've already had dinner before. So
Right, right.
yeah,
But think
yeah.
about it.
Go ahead.
It's really like at the end of the day, remember what he just was saying, like about the about the president of football. He wants to do that first. This is a good possibility by Monday. We could have our president of football by Monday. I'm just giving it. It could be happening sooner than that, but I'm just saying by Monday, maybe Tuesday, they can already have that done deal and start trying to move into the all right. Now let's get our GM. Now let's get our or if the GM is already hired, like I was saying with Ian, because he is having that, we could have possibly the GM and president of football out the way. And the only thing you have to worry about then would be the head coach and who he's going to be. But if you see Matt Ryan and you see Ian, both, being in those respective positions, you kind of can start kind of leaning which way they're going to go.
Yep. I mean, it's gonna show it's gonna rear its ugly face, no matter if you like it or not, or no matter if you agree with it or not. But Dirty Bird Gang, he had a question. He said, "Do you guys believe that Clint Kubiak is really ready? Is he really the next Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, or Sean McVay?" That's an excellent question.
Roll them.
But if you check the numbers, you would be willing to roll the dice because we talked about. Now, if I can put it up one more time, if y'all ain't tired of seeing it, I put it up one more time. He gives, it gives um excellent, input as to wrong one. As to what he does well, and that's spread the ball around. And that's something that we were not able to do. And if you see it right there at the top, he's very at the very top. So and look at the very bottom. Who do you see at the very bottom?
Mm,
Um, so look, I'm telling you, Clint Kubiak. I mean, they like first time coaches, and he answered that question as well. Um, and basically, he said in to put it in layman's terms, it's best who we think fits the job and the role of what we're looking for going forward.
hmm
He didn't
And
give an outright answer. He just summarized it. But go ahead,
yeah,
Chris.
and that's what I'm saying. And it could be Clint being one of your guys because you think about it. You bring it in, like I said, if they do go with Ian, this is hypotheticals. If they do go with Ian and they go with Matt, it's like, okay, I just don't see a guy with as much pedigree as John Harbaugh getting down with all that. You
Right.
feel me? So I'm trying to like really just prepare y'all for possibility of not of optics getting in the way or something like that. That a coach like that, you let him come in and do his thing.
Correct.
But but a coach like maybe like a Clint Kubiak, you can like that's somebody that first season or two, so you can kind of like be like growing seasons to a degree because he's his first time head coach and he's trying to get things together. It all going to depend on who's the OC, if the defense is still intact, and plus on top of that, I think a guy like Kubiak, first time head coach, I do believe he will be more willing to listen to the idea of, yes, let's keep Jeff Ulbrich and that defense intact. You just come in on the offensive end, do your thing. If you need the offensive coordinator, there's no problem. You possibly could end up still with Mike McDaniel, because in the offense would work. They never worked together, but they still come from that tree, and they still like cousins as far as when it comes to how the offense is controlled. So you still could be able to run that and be able to work it like that. I don't necessarily want McDaniel as the head coach. I mean, Kubiak, I'm just thinking about it from the optic standpoint. First time head coach, yes, but experienced defense, and you possibly come in and have an experienced OC like McDaniel, or maybe Kubiak will run his own plays because he does it right now. He's running the plays up there in Seattle. Maybe he comes down here and says, "Hey, I'm gonna run my own plays, do it like the Shanahan, do it like the McDaniel myself." There is that option too. Regardless, my point is, first time head coach, let the experience stay around, and it'll be more easier to pitch that to a first time head coach than more so somebody like a John Harbaugh.
Right. Because I feel like if John Harbaugh come in, and I said this earlier, I feel like that's an opening for Monken to continue coaching in the NFL. I know he's going to get head coaching offerings, but he's almost 60 years old. And absolutely, he's 59, almost 60. So at that age, do you really want to take on the stress of becoming a head coach? And even though Harbaugh is 62, 63, he's been a coach for 20 years. That's a difference. Monken has only been a coordinator. So I feel like at that point in his life, I don't feel like he'll be ready to do that. But he's also going to bring his own defensive coordinator. And then you would be looking at guys like Gus Bradley, Anthony Lynn, and guys of that nature. So I mean, when Harbaugh comes, he's gonna hit it hard, man. But when you talk about a young guy like a Clint Kubiak, he may have to lean on the Mike McDaniels until he gets his feet up under him. And ain't nothing wrong with that. And like Chris said, you already have Ulbrich here, and it's somebody that Mike McDaniels is familiar with. So, I mean, it's in and outs and ups and downs to all of it. It's just that the timing just has to be right. And are they willing to work together? But Miss Carey, she said, I really want an offensive-minded head coach for our next coach. We haven't had a quarterback throw for 20-plus touchdowns in a season since Matt Ryan 5 years ago. Wow.
Ouch.
I also think our offensive weapons haven't been unlocked yet, and she's absolutely correct. Absolutely. And this is why, and y'all hate that name, this is why Kevin Stefanski, Clint Kubiak, and guys like this name keep coming up. Because even though we don't like that name, guess what? He's still one of the best offensive minds in the league. Because, I mean, where is he on the chart? Mike McDaniel's at the bottom, and Kevin Stefanski's at the bottom. But at the same time, they still veterans. And they struggled they had, young guys at the quarterback position. So I get it. Right. But again, you got to look at Mike McDaniel at this phase as well. When he came in, he kicked our ass from the left side of the field to the right, using the same playbook that we was using, and he knows the offense very well. So, and on top of that,
left-handed quarterback.
And exactly, it's a left-hand quarterback. But think about it. After they beat us that game, they went on a run. No, they did not make the playoffs, and I don't think they had a winning record, but they were 1-6 at one point. So he's one of those coaches that, the players they're gonna fight for, and that's what you want. So we'll see. Miss Tiff, what's good? What's good?
How you doing, family?
Appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Got super.
Oh, super chat. Let's see what we got. Subterranean.
Hey, we appreciate it. The Subterranean retro games.
Retro games. 199, man. If you got a question, go on and drop it, man. You drop the super chat, and I appreciate that, man. So if you got a question, go on and drop it down in the chat, man. I'd read it right off as soon as you drop it.
Oh, real quick, I do want to swing back. I do want to circle the block real quick on that Jeff Ulbrich thing as far as like with the Cowboys. Now, you think about it too. It's not just about them denying it. They wanted to deny it, of course, going back to everything that we just said. They want to keep that option open. And if they lose him, which if he goes to Dallas, y'all, Jeff Ulbrich wouldn't have been back in Atlanta. Because
Oh
only
no,
thing
no, no, no.
Aaron Jones would have did was just double his pay, and we would have lost Jeff Ulbrich, and then it would have been, it kind of would have been you would have had to pivot a different direction because it's like, dang, we just lost our defensive coordinator. Now
Right.
what? So that's another reason why they just like, nah. Arthur Blank I already know. He's like, Jerry, absolutely not. I'm not even for to play that game with you.
Yeah, just go and drop your question down in that subterranean retro games, and I answer it. We'll answer it. You put the chat up. You put the $2 up, so man, we'll read it. So whatever you
Yeah,
drop,
yeah, we
man,
got
we
you.
for it.
Oh,
He said, I meant to say, I know nobody is going to like this, but why not Jameis Winston for 2026? He can win the South. I absolutely agree with that. And if you've been watching the show, which I know you have, you've been following a very long time, that's been the name out of my mouth the last 2-3 years. Why not? People
yes.
always talk about the 30 for 30. Yeah, that's fine and dandy, but at the same time, he's an NFL quarterback. And look for the Giants, he had a damn 400-yard game without even trying. One thing about it, all you have to do is get Jameis weapons, and he will produce. That's all. Because
I just,
look what he did with Mike Evans. Look what he did with Tampa Bay. He had decent seasons. He just couldn't capitalize because they didn't capitalize by putting the right players around him outside of Mike Evans. So I mean, I give it a shot for a year or two. I mean, and it would be it'd be a value buy.
mm-hmm. Man, hey, hey, you never know, man. The thing about it is, you may actually finally get your wish this year because we need a bridge quarterback, regardless, and it can't be at the price tag for Kirk Cousins. It can't be. But the thing about it is, we can still price out, or shall I say, designate him for post June 1st, and it still doesn't mean that that's the end of Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. That's the crazy part because he can get cut
Yeah,
and then sign him for a different deal. But I don't. I just think that's the Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. I just think this over with. I do. I think it's done.
yeah. But speaking of coaches, man, we want to give y'all some thoughts. Kelly Price interviewed Arthur Blank. He's been busy today, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she interviewed him, man. This is what he had to say, about she said she asked him if he learned from firing the last three coaches, what he wants to do differently. And his answer, things I would press on more, restructuring, increase accountability. And he talked about that a little bit in the press
Is there
conference.
anything you learned from the last kind of 3 coaching cycles that you maybe want to do differently this time around?
I think it's a good question. I think, as we go through life, we all have experiences, and we try to learn from those experiences, not make the same mistakes again. So I think that there are some things probably that I would press on more now than I did in the past. Not so much in terms of football knowledge, but in terms of holding coaches and players accountable and things of that nature at a little deeper level and what have you, and to make sure we have the quality of the leadership at all levels in place. And we just spent a couple of months going to do a deep dive, kind of an X-ray, if you will, sports X-ray of our football team, and there's some other changes we'll be making organizationally to make sure we're lined up to be really an elite team, not just one year, but my vision has always been that we'd be competitive, every single year, have an opportunity to get to playoffs, to be in the playoffs and then compete, and single game elimination, and continue to fight your way to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and see, that's what we all want, but at the same time, you can't keep going through coaches every 2 to 3 years. And it sounds good. Don't get me wrong. It sounds very good. But at the end of the day, like he said, accountability is everything. And if some coaches had to held others accountable, but let's skip all that. I'm gonna just go back to what I told y'all from the jump. If Raheem Morris had put veterans behind him, he say like for instance, he brought in the Jeff Ulbrich to begin with, and he brought in, this is just just to say, hypothetically, say like he bring in a veteran like a Mike McDaniels or somebody like that to come in with him when he came in 2 years ago, we would probably be playing in the playoff this Saturday. Why? Because as I told y'all, accountability. When you have coaches up under you, guess what? They're going to hold you accountable, and maybe some coaches can't handle that. They feel like they have enough stress with coaching the team, being in film sessions, going over game plans and scheming and things of that nature. So maybe they think they have enough, on their shoulders already. But when you put coaches in place at the right time, you won't have these problems. And if honestly, if they put better coaches up under Arthur Smith, he may have still been here. So I mean, but some coaches they just can't handle pressure like others, and sometimes that's just what it is. Mike got a Kelly. Mike got a question for you, Tip, right quick.
What did you go? Oh, said you do I still think Salah is the guy? No, I don't think Salah is necessarily the guy. He's like a dark horse for me if you want to keep Jeff Ulbrich, because those two worked together before with the Jets. By the way, the Jets were terrible. So before y'all be like, oh man, he did terrible with the Jets. He didn't have nothing to work with. They're a terrible organization. Good luck to Aaron Glenn. But as far as like with Robert Saleh in Atlanta, better roster. You can come in, and you definitely already have your defensive coordinator in place, so you don't even have to worry about it. And I mean, you're a defensive mind too, so you could help out with that. On the offensive end, it would be interesting to see who he would bring in as an offensive coordinator, though. That's like my biggest eyesore and my biggest question. Like, who in the world would you bring in? So, like, he's not my cup of tea or like my first choice or anything like that. I'm just thinking as far as like Jeff Ulbrich and the fact that we did request an interview with Robert Saleh for the head coach position too. So I'm just thinking like he could be a dark horse, like maybe a break the emergency glass. Things went left, so we got to still get something right, and possibly could be like I was saying, Robert Saleh.
But the thing about that is we keep saying if you bring in a defensive minded coach, you might be set on the defensive side with Saleh and Ulbrich. But what about still calling plays on the offensive side? And that's where Mike McDaniel has to come into play. That's why you have to have a veteran like a Mike McDaniel who's coached a team and knows what it takes, and he can use that, on the offensive side. And then you got to think about another position, the quarterback position, the quarterback coach. We got to fill a lot of these spots on the offensive side again. And there are already teams, and they're not, saying it publicly, but I read it already. Dwayne Leffert, his name is going to come up, in other job openings, mainly because, we don't know what's going to happen on the offensive side of the ball. So I feel like they still need to find a way to keep Dwayne Leffert as well, because he's just as important as Jeff Ulbrich. He's the key to this offensive line. And if they add that key piece on the offensive line, this offensive line does not skip a beat. Caleb McGarry will be back. You still have Jake. He's getting long in the tooth, but he's still a veteran. Then you have Bergeron and Lindstrom on the inside. And I don't know what's going to happen with New Zealand, but I feel like a Tyler Linderbaum. He's definitely one you have to look at this offseason. So it's just a lot of ways we can go, man. But Ghost Pepper says, I just want our new head coach to have a plan, an active plan, and tactic plan, prepare our troops, then actually coach them, have a pedigree with working and culturally robust teams, have an offensive mind, play to win. And when you describe that, you describe John Harbaugh to a T. Point blank, period. That's what you're describing. Because guess what? He worked up under Ozzie Newsome in Baltimore. And Ozzie Newsome, as we know, is one of the best GMs to ever work in his league. After being a Hall of Fame player. So he's going to bring that to Atlanta right off the top. Right off top. But the only thing with that, you wipe out the whole coaching staff and start all over again. Everything through this process is a good and a bad.
Added to the about the have an offensive mind. Now that's not Harbaugh, but the special team should be fine because
that would be excellent. That's what he thrives at.
Yeah, so he would have to get an offensive mind in here, but outside of that, that's Jeff Ulbrich. LaFleur, McDaniels, and Ulbrich sounds like a damn good, in my opinion. Just a dream, though. Hey, to be honest with you, you could get that 2016 all over again, man, and just in a different aspect. We already know how the Falcons operate, so honestly, Millie Mill, that is not far-fetched at all, especially if LaFleur becomes available. you really could see head coach LaFleur, McDaniels is the OC, and Olbrich still running the defense, running it back from 2016.
Right. Would you offer Mike McDaniel a job? Absolutely, I would. Because even though they were losing, they got up and started fighting for him, and he almost kept his job. And the more I sit back and thought about it earlier when I was watching TV, when they said there was a team that called that already had a head coach, and they called John Harbaugh anyway, Miami was probably that team. That's why Mike McDaniels got fired, because they're finna work hard, just like the Giants, just like the Falcons, and any other team, to go after John Harbaugh. And whoever gets the winning bid, that's who gets him. And think about it: if you're looking at what's going on in Atlanta, what he said earlier today, that they're turning down jobs for Ulbrich and they expect to keep him, that pretty much excludes John Harbaugh from the Falcons altogether. And like Chris said earlier, he said they really didn't have no confidence in him coming here. If he can put us on the schedule, exactly what he said. So
right. Yeah. And then Blade Runner got a good question too about blowing Brian Flores. He said, so nobody thinks Brian Flores is considered as a head coach, and I will say this: he is another dark horse if Matty gets the president of football job.
Absolutely.
So be mindful about that, because, of course, Boston College, these ties run deep. This brotherhood runs deep.
And we talked about that.
Yeah, brother. So it's just like former college teammates played on the same football team at that particular time, relationships. I can see Brian Flores did say pretty much the only way you getting him out of Minnesota for real
is a
head coaching job. So,
and let me add something else to that, Chris. Let me add something else to that. We talked about the GM position. If Ian Cunningham, who's the favorite to get the job, if he gets the job, he works under Ryan Poles, who was teammates with Matt Ryan at where? And you just talked about Brian Flores with who? Okay. Now you can put it all together. Okay. Now everything coming. So we kind of got an idea of where they're gonna go with things. So look, I mean, we talked about friendship sometimes to get you in trouble. But let's be real. If everything falls into place like it should, we can find a way to get a defensive-minded coach, and we get a defensive-minded coach to be a head coach. Why not bring in a Mike McDaniels to come in and say, hey, we want you to run our offense. You run it to a T. We had the same type talent, you had in Miami, even though their receiver was just a little bit faster. But they had the talent. So,
bro, wouldn't that be funny for Flores and McDaniel to meet up in Atlanta after one was replaced for the other?
Boy. But Chris, go back to this though, and we're gonna get into the Matt Ryan thing right in a minute. But go back to this when after the divisional loss in 2017, when the year after Kyle Shanahan left. If you had made that choice, and see, this is what Arthur's been sitting back thinking about, this whole time, and he talked about it, and he talked about making changes and learning from your mistakes. These are the type mistakes he's talking about, because they had 3 future head coaching candidates on that staff in 2016, and they kept not one of them. These are the type of mistakes that he's saying that he has to fix, that he cannot make again. And what better way to do that if you can get Holt to just one of those guys and bring those guys in and help the organization get back to that glory road where you was in Super Bowl 51. Why not? It makes sense. So, I mean, sometimes it's about making mistakes, but sometimes it's about getting mistakes right.
Definitely got to dust yourself off and try again, man, in different ways. But he wants to take back his organization. That was one thing that was put out there by Josina Anderson, and little by little, it seems like he's trying to head in that direction. But again, you just got to believe, pretty much nothing of what you hear and half of what you see. So
right,
just
these theories. Yeah, my bad.
No, go ahead.
These theories that we come up with, these are our own thoughts. Some of them some of these, what we do is we listen, we read news, and we just start putting things together piece by piece. And as we've been talking to y'all about, relationships with Raheem Morris, Zach Robinson, and these guys, it's the same thing for coaches and coordinators. It's the same thing. And sometimes, if you pick the right friend who really has your back that can do the job the right way, it'll work out. But if not, you see what happened with Raheem Morris. Just that simple. But Ghost Pepper said securing the leader who can achieve the team's strategic objectives and foster a winning environment, and that's what we need. Even if it means admitting a mistake and restarting the head coach search after a single season. That's absolutely true. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars did it last year. And they went and got Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator, and now they're a 12-13 win team. That's all it takes. Confidence.
Speaking of offensive coordinator, too, it's just so funny that there's a possibility that Zach Robinson, he's being considered for the OC in Tampa Bay. But you think about it from their standpoint, he probably is like one of the best OCs to them because he went 3-1 against them.
Right.
Regardless, you think about it. So to them, they may be thinking, like, hey, man, he probably can run our offense. Go on ahead. Do your thing. do your thing, Tampa Bay.
That would be a dream come true to play against him in 1 year after he ran us in the ground. And one thing about it, Baker Mayfield, he a gunslinger. If you make a mistake with him, it's turnover city. Let's keep it real. Miss Charlene said Blank finally has a goal in mind for his team. We can't keep around the old regime staffers. We need a clean slate. I agree, Miss Charlene. But when you talk about Jeff Ulbrich and Nate Ollie and what they brought to this team, you got to find a way to hold on to something that works. And I feel like because we made the mistake before with Ryan Nielsen. When Raheem Morris got here, Ryan Nielsen was out the door before they even announced he was gone. I mean, before he was coming in, because he already had announced that he probably told after them that he wanted to bring in his own staff. And Ryan Nielsen left before Raheem even got here. And you can't make that mistake again because you let go of a guy that got us 42, 43 sacks in one season, something we hadn't did in probably a decade, and you just let him walk out the door. And you can't make that mistake again.
And think about the talent that Ryan Nielsen had. It was nothing what Jeff Ulbrich was working with. You think about that too. Ryan Nielsen did the best that he could with the talent that he had. Yeah, some of the guys, maybe a couple was on the team at that particular time, but Ryan Nielsen to get 42 sacks with that squad, that was nice. We did want to keep him around, but Raheem wanted his own guys. That's going back to what Arthur was saying about he made mistakes in the past. He's trying to rectify those things and not make those same mistakes again. So that's another reason why Jeff Ulbrich is so coveted, because what he did for this defense, he did better than Ryan Nielsen. Of course, better talent, yes, but he still did a better job. I want to hold on to that. So, and with that being said, I got to bring in somebody who is going to see that vision and that recommendation that I have, So again, that's what I'm saying. Like it kind of starts narrowing down that search of head coaches to a certain list of guys who could actually get this job now.
Yeah, and I think it's down to, I would say 3. I think it's 3 that they've had their eye on the whole time. But you got to go through the hiring process the right way. And we talk about the Rooney Rule as well. So when you look at the Rooney Rule as well, I feel like you got to do that as well. But in this clip, he talks right quick about the president of football and what it means. And again, this is Miss Kelly Price and channel Fox 5. And this is what he had to say about, the new position that they've just, opened up to what I call the middleman.
I know there's been a lot of talk about Matt Ryan coming back into this organization. I mean, what does someone like that mean here for him to maybe come back into this organization? What would that mean?
Well, Matt is one of the candidates that we're considering, and we'll be interviewing him over the next several days as well. Obviously, I would say he's probably the best player that we've had in our history, going back to 1966. Spent 14 years here, had a great great track record. People might ask, well, how does that relate as a player to being able to be an experienced executive in the world of football? And I would say, well, you lead a locker room of 53 men, and you have to work with coaches, and you lead the team on the field, and you do that for 14 years at the highest level. Your EQ and IQ when it comes to football is pretty high, and people. So I would say Matt certainly would bring a lot of those qualities to that position as well. But we have other really good candidates that we're considering too.
Keyword, but we have other good candidates, which means Matt Ryan is the number one guy. That's what I take from it. But Dirty Bird says, when your offense is as terrible as ours this past season on third down, you can fault the defense for getting exhausted. We were terrible on third down this year. One of the league's worst. Absolute facts. Absolute facts. But to go back to what they're saying with Matt Ryan point blank, he has confidence in Matt. And as Chris been telling you and I've been telling you, Matt Ryan worked with CBS 2 seasons. So he's learning the ins and the outs about, building relationships, learning how to network and things of that nature. Because like he said, leadership is one of Matt Ryan's better qualities. But all this ties in together, like we said, with these coaches and these coordinators, if Matt Ryan gets hired as president of football, because he's the middleman. He's the one that's going to have to make more football decisions, and he's going to have to report directly to Arthur Blank. And basically, he's doing what Rich McKay used to do, point blank, period.
Right.
Now, Greg Beatles is the new president and CEO of the Falcons, but they'll have to come together with the GM to come up with a plan. But at the end of the day, it all goes back to Mr. Blank.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, hey.
Excuse me. But yeah, something else to think about. And the only reason why I think about this is because I'm thinking about guys who can call their own plays, but somebody who they may bring in as, so like underlings and like coaches to be in the position, but still kind of help out with the plays as well, or should I say at least the game plan. If Matt LaFleur comes in, you could see his brother Mike leave the Rams and come with Matt to the Falcons.
To be the quarterback coach. Yep.
Also, if you have Clint Kubiak come in, you could see Clay leave the 49ers and come with Clint. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I know that would be like, honestly, that scenario right there with Clint and Clay, both, that would actually be more dangerous, I think. Just because, Matt has more head coaching experience. So if he brought Mike in with him, it's, you kind of could, even that and balance that out. But regardless, I'm just thinking about, again, relationships, something that could possibly happen, giving guys a start, kind of prepping guys, maybe get OC jobs, maybe head coaching jobs. And Mike LaFleur right now is up for possibly a head coaching gig, like at least consideration for it right now. So that's another reason why I bring that up too. So relationships could be anything.
Yep. See, and this is what we be telling y'all, man. The way they run their organization it's the same thing, man. They believe in strong relationships, and ain't nothing wrong with that. It just got to be the right ones. Just like Dan Quinn brought Steve Sarkisian along with him, especially after he got in trouble about the alcoholism, but he still took that chance. But hey, what do I know? Ghost Pepper said franchise. Sometimes the franchise has to bust a move much earlier in order for the team to get where they want to be. Lollygagging around by holding on to a proven losing isn't going to help a damn thing. And that's what we said about Arthur Smith and Dan Quinn. They stayed just a little bit longer than they should have. And sometimes that hurts you.
Yep. But he said, I'm not doing that again. They asked him that question and he answered it. That was one thing that was a pleasant surprise. Well, I ain't gonna say a surprise. It was just pleasant hearing him giving his explanation on why he got rid of Terry and Raheem. And he just said, hey, at the 2 season, I know I normally do the whole 3 season, maybe 4 season thing, but I felt like after 2 seasons of Raheem and 5 years of Terry, I had seen enough.
Yeah.
And I can't do nothing but respect that.
Boy. Hey, Chris, you want me to tell you what he probably looked at what I said. He thought if he heard what I said, he would have thought the same thing too. Because as I told y'all, when you lose to a team that lost 7 straight games and you have a 6-3 record, that's a problem for the locker room. That's a problem for the coaching staff. That's a problem for the owner. And then this year, you lose to a 1-6 Miami Dolphins team, and then have 2 losing streaks of 4+ games. That's not going to keep you a job in the NFL. I don't care if you win the last 5 or 6 games. If you have a losing record at the end of the season after something like that happens 2 seasons in a row, you're going to lose your job. Just that simple. No way around
it. Yeah, absolutely. He said, calling the football Cesar.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury did. He resigned with the Commanders, but you know he's gonna be a tough sell for me because
that would be a real tough one. That's the guy that I kind of like. Kingsbury, I hear it, but like for me, no, I put him kind of like in that same realm with Stefanski. I'm like, I know good offensive mind, but it's just like I'm kind of good, and I do know that Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year again, but you still got to kind of like weigh your options with it. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about Kevin Stefanski. He's never done anything to me. I never met the guy, but I just feel like overall, I don't think that would be the guy. And I don't know why I don't feel that way about Kubiak. Maybe because of what I see and what I've been seeing, even though like this year is the most success he's had. Again, I'm looking at what he's doing. He's taking a quarterback that's been labeled as a journeyman and what he's doing with him. And he has he has his own discrepancies in his game, talking about Sam Darnold. But Kubiak puts him in the best scenarios and the best situations, and then they run the ball. They have playmakers, and they definitely got a darn good defense. So it's like,
yeah,
they playing football.
And the thing about it, what you just described as the way he's doing in Seattle, he can do the same thing in Atlanta. The exact same thing. We just have to have the leader to do it. TJ said the defense gave up 323 yards to Jonathan Taylor and the Colts, 448 yards to Lil Bryce Young. The defensive coordinator is a little bit above average. But I'm going to just tell you like this, TJ, to be honest with you, my brother. Love you to death. But you got to look at what happened in that game offensive-wise. When you got the offense cannot convert third downs and the defense having to keep going back on the field, they're gonna be tired by the end, about halfway through the third quarter. Let's keep it real. Because if you look at that 83-yard run by Jonathan Taylor, they actually had him in the backfield. But guess what?
Oh man, that was a bad.
They were too tired to run all the way on the back on the other side of the damn field.
That was a back breaker too, bro. And again, you think about it. Let me add to that point. I'll go further than that, family. You think about it. Time of possession is a lot. How many times this year was the offense getting off the field, 3 and outs, defense right back on the field, defense would get a turnover and go get a sip of Gatorade, put their helmet down, turn around, 3 and out.
Yeah.
Let's go do it again, y'all. So again, like if the offense was able to be consistent this year, the defense would have been even better statistically because they wouldn't have been on the field as much, so they wouldn't have had to have so many plays against them anyway. It would have all hit out. Also, I'm not forgetting about you, special teams, because field position was atrocious this year for the Atlanta Falcons for the most part too. So you already putting your defense at a disadvantage, giving great field position to the opposing team, or starting at a terrible field position, giving your offense some struggling field position to start with sometimes. And they put them behind the sticks. You playing that game, you're losing. So really, when you think about it, the offense and the special teams were working against the defense, and the defense was carrying them on their back, like carrying the team on the back. So
So you be,
it's subjective, y'all. You gotta
so
think
you
about
better, so you better damn preach. I know that.
it. I'm just saying, fam, like you gotta think about it. It's 3 phases for a reason. And that
Right.
defense could have been better if the offense and special teams, especially that special teams just used to, oh my God. But yeah,
But Chris, how many times did you make this point during the season? How many times was the defense on the field 40 minutes for one game? How many
you said what?
times?
You said how many
How
times
many
what?
times did we lose the time of possession and the defense was on the field for 40, 35 plus to 40 minutes a game?
At least
How
7
many
games
times?
this year. At least.
Point taken. That's all Chris saying. That's all he's saying. Willie, thank you for the donation, my brother. He said, blank stressed president of football hired first. How soon before he makes a hire? We got started reviewing coaches and GM soon. And I think, like Chris said, it'll be up between, and honestly, Chris said Monday. But honestly, I think it'll be announced tomorrow or Saturday. Because, like I said, I feel like they already got their mind made up. They just went through the hiring process the right way, to show what they were doing the right thing. But again, I think they have their mind made up on Matt Ryan, and I'm gonna stick to that. And once they hit the ground running, because he's speaking too highly of Matt Ryan, not to give him the job. Let's keep it funky. So
I mean, and to his defense, though, everybody do keep asking him about it. Everybody keep asking about Matt. Sometimes
because they know.
Yeah, they know.
Exactly. Big question is our opening better than the Ravens? Woo. Man, that's a good ass question. Millie.
That's a great question.
Millie, you get on my damn nerve, man.
No, that's a great question because
that's a great question, man. God damn.
It's up for debate for real because you look at it, man. They got. Now, I still believe that we have a better defense overall because they got first rounders all the way around, all over that defense. And you think about how the Steelers just kept running the ball. They couldn't get no stops. And in the fourth quarter, they can't get no stops. So it's like I still believe our defense is better. Yes, they got King Henry, but outside of that, I know we got Bijan and Tyler for now. Offense, they got Zay Flowers, yes, speedster. But I think he's more of a slot guy. I don't think he's an outside receiver. And you think about we have Drake. I mean, I just think about our weapons, our offensive line. I feel like they're better. The only thing that they really have over us is that doggone 2-time MVP.
I'm gonna shock some people. I'm gonna say the Ravens opening is better than ours. You want me to tell you why? Because their structure and their organization is ran to a T, and they got that guy named Ozzie Newsome still somewhere in the building, working with the GM to put a team together. And like you said, they have a quarterback in place, Derrick Henry in place. And what are they known for? Defense. All they have to do is retool their defense, and they back to being the Baltimore Ravens again. So that's the only reason why I would take the Ravens job over Atlanta is because of who's in the front office already, as opposed to some bringing in somebody new, having to start over and learn something new instead of doing shit the Ravens way.
Right.
That's how I'm gonna put it.
Yeah,
that's the easiest way I can put it.
No, it's spot on, brother. Because again, that Ravens, they got that structure, they got that pedigree. Man, you already know what you're getting really when you walk in the building. You know them players coming to play, and again, you got Lamar Jackson. So it's like,
yep,
it's tough. Like it's tough. Like that's why you really going to have to make sure that you're making the best decisions because you're a top 3 job, but you're not even technically the best job right now, depending on which way how you looking at it. But yeah, I can agree.
Yeah, but to the Falcon defense. But to the Falcon defense, I will say this. If you get the Falcons job and they offer you to bring in whatever you want to succeed on this team, that will make the job look even more interesting than it really does. Because if you get the quarterback that you want and the system that you can build and the team you can build and it's going to be on your resume, that will make the Falcon job look more credible. But as far as already having things in place, and that could come at a price too, because if they have things in place and they like things a certain way, guess what? You got to do things their way.
Yeah, But think about this too. Also, what makes the Falcons' job also attractive is the fact that you can come in, depending on who you are, you can come in and possibly win the division your first year, and it may not be as hard as you think. Compared
That's
to going
another positive. Yeah.
compared to going to the Ravens, you know you're gonna be in knockdown, drag them outs all day long because you got to deal with multiple quarterbacks, multiple teams, multiple
Yeah.
pedigrees. You know,
Steelers,
Steelers, but
Joe
Steelers, Bengals,
Burrow.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying Steelers, Bengals, Browns. Browns always gonna play you tough. So it's like you can go up there and deal with that, or you can come to the NFC South. You know, we got the Panthers, we got the Aints, we got the Bucks, and of course us. But you get 10 wins, you know what I'm saying? That's down there
That's
guaranteed.
division.
That's
Yeah.
guaranteed. You know, you get 10 wins, you get 9 wins. But I just say you go ahead and get 10 wins, that's guaranteed division champion. And I believe that there are guys out there that can come in and with their program in place to get 10 wins, especially with this talent.
Yeah. Yeah. That's facts. Absolute facts. Tay said, Mill, we can drop third just as long as we get LaFleur. Whew, man.
Sheesh.
Birdcage, right at the Birdcage, man. Y'all go check him out. He just had an awesome show, man, about what's been going on with the Falcons, man. Y'all please go check out the Birdcage LLC and go over there and tell him Smitty and A1 sent you. And while y'all going over there, man, hype up his videos, hit that like button, and please subscribe to his channel, man.
Facts, man. Hey,
but yeah, man, we appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, they can interview him, but I think they stuck with Bowles because I don't think they want to pay him all that money. Let's keep it funky. Let's keep it funky. MPJ will be stronger and better than he was in college. 2 years of being the best quarterback. We can only hope, Terry. We can only hope. It's no knock to him, but coming in with a new regime again and him having to learn another system under another coordinator, and if the system really fits his skill set, that's gonna be tough. And as I told y'all, I can see the Falcons saying either you're gonna have to develop Michael Penix or this job made for you. I could see that. But at the same time, they bring in a bridge guy and he comes in playing well. Like I told y'all, you got to think his time is up in Atlanta. Because you're not going to bitch somebody that's playing well and get you to the playoffs. Let's keep it real. So that's why I just said he wasn't really sure about Michael Penix. He said he thinks he's going to be our quarterback, but he wasn't sure because things can happen. Things can happen.
Absolutely freaking. So, I mean, again, guys, this is just different things that possibly can go on. It was an excellent interview all overall. Got a lot of insight. I feel like we're gonna be referencing back to that interview sometime this season on something. So just keep an eye out for that, and we definitely gonna get back at you.
Yeah,
great.
But as always, man, another great pop-up show, man. We at our hour mark. Always great talking to y'all, man. Thank y'all for coming through, giving y'all thoughts. We'll be putting out a Michael Penix video about 680 defending what they're saying about him, his future in Atlanta, and they made absolute sense. So when I drop it, y'all please go check it out. Right quick, will the doc say, what about Kubiak and his son and father combo? That would be very interesting, man. But I think Gary he's retired, man. I don't think he's gonna come back.
Yeah, I mean, Gary's 64. I don't know, man. I mean, Gary's 64. I mean,
Tom Moore just retired today. He was 87. So I mean, hey, there's a chance, right?
Yeah, you just never know, I suppose, unless you just never know. But again, like I'm still looking at like I said, you got Clint, but you also have his brother Clay out there too in San Francisco. He not really calling any plays out there because of course Shanahan is, but he's still on that staff and still learning the ropes. And in a minute, you're gonna see Clay Kubiak out there.
He said before we go, Lions already reached out to MM for an offensive coordinator job. Who is MM?
Marcus Mariota? No, I'm just
You going to hell.
like Mike McDaniel probably.
Mike McDaniels, right. And I could see that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
boy, I ain't gonna lie. I don't want him to go out there. Man, no.
That's what Dan Campbell need.
It's time for Lions to come crashing back down to earth. You know,
yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. I wouldn't want it to happen, but that would be nice. Woo. But last point, Jerome said he said Penz is the quarterback for the future straight from the horse's mouth. But you got to read the context of the way he's saying, man. He can say anything. But when he say he thinks Michael Penix is the quarterback of the future, he's not sure. And we're not sure. One thing about it is going to be what coaches come in and what's going to be brought in behind them, because again, they can want their own offensive coordinator, their own defensive coordinator, their own quarterback, they own everything. We're just seeing time. But Chris, man, you know what to do, man. Tell everybody where to find you, man.
Hey man, it is 10:30 at night. Y'all could have been anywhere, but y'all were hanging out with us, and we appreciate that always. 2 pop-up shows today. It's off season, and we would definitely appreciate y'all. But hey, this Arthur Blank thing happened, interview happened, and we had to talk about it. Of course, Trae Young being traded. Biggest star technically in Atlanta, really since Dominique for real. So, we had to talk about that. So if you missed that, go back and check that one out too. That was a good one, and this was a good one too. So we appreciate y'all coming through. As for me, A1 Forever Sports, please come over, like, comment, and subscribe. Be a part of the A1 family. Love to have you over here. Positive energy always creates elevation. That's how you find your peace. So make sure you do that. Also catch me on the Hawks Digest, because again, like I said, a lot is happening in Atlanta surrounding the Atlanta Hawks. Shoot, man, I still got more videos I have to do for over there, because there's more news like coming out, more little things, and the Hawks still have basketball games going on in between all of this too. So There's a lot to talk about for the Atlanta Hawks. So again, like I said, catch me on the Hawks Digest. Me and Walter Pollard covering all things Atlanta Hawks over there. And also Twitter, A1 Forever, Instagram, A1 Forever, and the real A1 Forever on TikTok, man. Again, peace and blessings to all y'all. Be generational, because it's always time to be.
Yep, and y'all know where to find me, man. Fatboy Slim _21 on Twitter. And right here, right now, on Smitty Sports Machine, as I keep y'all in tune into the world of Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta Braves, and all the Atlanta sports except soccer. I can't get into soccer. I'm not there yet. But you can also catch, some of the top stories going on around in the world of sports on my channel as well. Say for instance, like some breaks out with another team in the NFL, NBA, or Major League Baseball. I might comment on that through a short video. But I try to cover a little bit of everything, try to keep it diverse. But again, man, we want to thank y'all for coming through. Like my boy A1 said, find your peace today. And as my boy Berto would say, we're going to give y'all Thursday night back because it's damn sure late. And I'm late in my chicken wings, and I'm going to holler at y'all later, man. Peace.
Peace.